Hey everybody, Asian Fahzaly Gamer here. I just want to take a second, put out a small disclaimer to let you all know that I am not a mental health professional. I just want to do my best to be able to help others with my own experience, and at the very least, hope to be able to point people in the right direction if they do need help. And of course, I also want to remind people that we do go into very heavy and potentially triggering subjects. So that is something to be considered. But I do appreciate your support for you being here. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Fahzaly Advice. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fahzaly Advice. I want to take a second to say thank you to all of you, my viewers, for your support, and I truly do appreciate it. I do hope that everyone that does watch this episode has had an absolutely wonderful Thanksgiving. And of course, remember, if you do want to support me as a full-time content creator, it's as simple as like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. With that, let's get on into our first submission, shall we? This one is brought to us by Adult Designer, and they write, Dear Fahza, I am an artist. I do graphic design and 3D modeling, and I absolutely love what I do. Due to fortunate circumstances and some help from friends advertising, I have a pretty steady income doing project work for content creators, film students, commissioned from my work, and even worked as a contracted designer for a game project. The problem I am facing is this past year I have become more open about how I make a living and have expressed myself to my friends and family on personal social media pages, mainly Facebook. Well, one of my so-called friends has been saying some pretty derogatory things on my posts, saying I need to get a real job and that it's annoying to see a grown man say he's an artist. I wanted to respond, but there were also a few people agreeing with him, saying it's annoying to see these posts. Am I doing something wrong? What would you do here, Fahza? Sincerely, Adult Designer. Well, Adult Designer, first off, let me say thank you for your submission, and thank you to all of our submitters for Fahzaly Advice. Without you, there would be no podcast, and it truly means everything to me. And for anybody who is interested in submitting to Fahzaly Advice, remember to check out the end of the video where there will be information about how to do just that. So, when it comes down to this particular subject, this is much along the lines of the same conversation I've had with a few content creators. It comes down to, there's always going to be someone out there that has something to say about what it is that you do and how you do it, and if you're enjoying yourself or not. Everybody's going to have an opinion about something. But the weight of that opinion is decided by you. Remember that. What they say doesn't mean anything unless you allow it to. Words are not given power by those who speak, but by those who listen. And that is the only person who can empower the speaker. You. And why would you do so in such a manner that puts you down when you don't deserve that? You are making a living. You are doing what you love. Who cares if it bothers somebody else? Because the only reason that it bothers them is because they're not doing it. Is because they see somebody making it in a way that is not conventional, that was not shoveled in their face by the system and society that we have today. And they can't seem to understand that it's a good thing. They would rather drag you down to their level. Because as the saying goes, misery loves company, and it will find it as much as it can, and desperately. And it seems like your friend, your so-called friend, has their own problems in this matter, and they have their own issues that they're going to need to face because they're not happy. But that's not your problem. That's not your fault. And there's nothing wrong with you, one, being proud of what you do, enjoying what you do, and talking about it. Because the people who actually care, the people who actually are your friends and your family, and that actually love you, They're not going to hear, oh, they're doing something that doesn't fit into my idea of what you should be doing. They're going to hear, oh, they're thriving. They're having fun. This is awesome. That's the perspective of somebody who actually cares about you. Someone who doesn't care about you, who is not your friend, will immediately equate it to themselves. Immediately equate it to something that is their judgment, when it doesn't affect them at all. Do you see the difference there? There are too many people in this world, from honestly through social media and parasocial relationships, that I have seen that have forgotten this simple concept: time and place. It's not always about you. And just because someone's livelihood or the way that somebody lives bothers you doesn't mean anything. Nobody needs to care if it bothers someone. I don't know why that's such a hard concept. But unless, of course, you are actually physically harming somebody and forcing them, and I mean forcing them, like sitting them down, tying them up BDSM style, and putting on that clockwork orange eyeball opening mechanism, and forcing you to watch things that you don't want to watch, it's not your problem if it bothers them. Just because it's out there in public eye doesn't mean it affects you. Perspective, people, perspective. You choose what affects you in this world. You choose who you are in this world. And you choose to judge others because they don't fit into your little bubble of how you think people should live. And I'm not talking about the submitter here. I'm talking about the person who chooses to make derogatory comments or just simply sit there and be negative about someone else's lifestyle when it doesn't fucking affect you in a single iota. The only way it does is the effort you put into being a salty ass bitch about it. And I know I'm using some strong language here, but sometimes it needs to be said this way because some people don't seem to get it. If I have to say it in an all nicey nice way, oh, you just need to relax and not let it affect you. You're gonna be just fine. You know what ends up happening? It's moved over. So if I have to say it in the most outrageous way possible just for you to get the fucking clue, I will. Because there's too many people in this world that are hiding themselves and not being themselves because there are too many people out there willing to judge them for bullshit that doesn't affect them. And it's not your problem if it bothers somebody. Nor is it their problem if it bothers you. It doesn't affect you. It really doesn't. You can think about the macro scale of all this shit, that shit. Are you doing anything about that? Or are you sitting there bitching and moaning about it because you just don't want to see it? Well, then don't see it. Live your life. Focus on yourself. How hard is that? I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I might seem a little bit intense about this. Well, because it needs to be intensely said. We have moved in such a drastic and fanatical way in society that people can't just be anymore. It's always a monolithic fucking event. Why? It's so stupid. Time and place, people. Time and fucking place. You need not turn everything into a battle, and not everything affects the overarching society of life. Sure, the little things show volumes to the bigger things. But it's a matter of filtering out the noise so you can actually make effective decisions on the things that you care about. Or You can waste time bitching. That's on you, though. Now, to the submitter, adult designer, you are not doing anything wrong, nor do you need to give any weight or consideration to the people who want to say some bullshit about what you're doing. If they don't like what you're doing and you're still thriving, that's their problem. In all honesty, the only thing you really need to do is not give them a space to speak. Block them. Ignore them. Make sure that they see through your actions that they are unimportant to you, because they are unimportant to you. Their judgment is unimportant to you because they do not bear the weight of your actions. You do, because it's your life, it's your time, it's your decision, and it is your enjoyment or disappointment. But that's on you. Just as much as their frustration is on them about what they don't like seeing in the world. Same thing comes back to you, my friend. If you give people the space to speak in such a way, they will continue to do so. But if you remove them from your view, if you remove them from your life, they're no longer of any consideration. That's the power that you have. And just because you live in their head rent-free and they want to say some shit about it is not your problem. It never has been, it never will be, and you just need to keep doing you. Keep posting. Keep being happy. Keep talking to the people that matter to you about the things that matter to you. Because the people who speak up against it and want to give you some judgment, especially when it's not doing anything other than you saying, hey, I'm doing this, I love what I'm doing, hey, look, I'm making money from what I'm doing, and I just want to share the fact that I'm doing this with my friends. And the people who want to say something negative about it, those are the people that are not your friend, that should not be part of your life. Because your time, your mind, your heart, your consideration, your friendship is a gift. And it needs to be considered thusly. Don't just give it to people who are willing to step all over it and take a giant Cleveland steamer on top of it. Because all they want to do is put you down. Friends talk to you about concerns, but they talk with you about them. They don't judge you for them. There's a difference. It's a line that is sometimes difficult to see because you want to be accepted so readily. But this world, this life isn't about being accepted by others. It's about looking in the mirror, accepting yourself. So don't try to be for anybody. Be you for you. And keep doing what you want to do. Keep loving what you're doing. It's your life, my friend. And the only person who should be considered when it comes to the enjoyment of your life, as long as you aren't harming others, is you. All right, my friend? I hope this does help. I truly do appreciate your submission, adult designer. I know this one got a little bit heated, but I hope that y'all found some value in my words. And before we move on to the next submission, we're going to have a small commercial break.
Hey everybody, Mr. Announcer and Random Scholar here to tell you about something amazing.
That's right. We have a merch store known as the AFG Brand Store, where you can purchase many different things.
Do you want a tin cup? Do you want a water bottle? Do you need a shirt? Do you need other things? Things that make you so that you support Asian Fascia Gamer? Well, check out the AFG Brand Store.
But wait, there's more.
That's right. We are going to be continuing to add to the merch store. On the monthly, we'll be adding in new designs as well as, of course, introducing discounts for all of you.
So check out the AFGBrandStore.com. Well, hey there, everybody. Did you know that Asian Fascia Gamer has a Patreon?
That's right, everybody, and we're here to tell you about it together.
Subscribers have a chance to see content early, as well as request content on higher tiers.
That's right. You can ask Asian Fahzaly Gamer to read you a story, talk to you about lore or gameplay, or many other things.
But wait, there's more!
Subs that have been stayed around for 3 months or longer get special gifts. And if we reach our stretch goal of 10 subs or more, we will continue to add more to the Patreon, making it better for all of you.
So please consider, at the very least, checking out Asian Fahzaly Gamer's Patreon. Maybe subscribing and supporting him. And of course, we thank you for your time.
Welcome back, everyone. I do hope that you enjoyed our first submission and what I had to say. And for those of you who are wondering how to submit to Fahzaly Advice to have your submission read on the podcast and to receive some advice or perspective, information on that will be at the end of this episode. And I do want to remind you, for those of you that have made it this far into the episode of Fahzaly Advice, thank you. And of course, if you do want to support me as a content creator, remember it's as easy and as free as like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Now, let's get on into our next submission, shall we? This one is brought to us by Damn the Holidays. And they write, "Hey Fahza, this is going to be a short one. And I know it's going to be after Thanksgiving since you post on Fridays. But I would love to hear what words you have for people out there who don't have anyone to spend with for the holidays. The people out there who dread the holidays because of what memories they represent. And the depression holidays can bring, despite the amount of people out there saying, 'It's the holidays, cheer up.' Do you have any words for those of us who have nothing to celebrate? Sincerely, Damn the Holidays." Well, damn the holidays. Listen, I completely understand this. I do, because in all honesty, when it comes down to it, other than a few select memories, the majority of my holidays have been nothing more than debacles, depression, and family fighting. And I'm sure that is the case for a lot of people out there, to be honest. We don't want to live Hallmark lives. And I get that. I do. But let me address this somewhat in a reverse manner. For those of you who believe you have nothing to celebrate, I personally think you do. You might not agree with me, but the celebration is in the fact that you are alive today, that you are still here, that despite all that you have faced and all the disappointment that you have overcome, you are still here. And within all of that, you still have hope. You have hope, which is why you question things like this, which is why people out there submit like this. And I don't mean this in a negative manner. I mean this in the most amazingly beautiful way possible. It is the strength that you have that you need to celebrate. The strength that keeps you here, hoping and continuing. That is in itself amazing. Now, words that I have for people, who dread the holidays. Like I said, I get that. I do. But there are still people out there, people who care about you, that at the very least just want to spend time with you. Holidays be damned. It's a chance to spend time with people that you love. Not about the bureaucratic, materialistic, consumer-based holidays that they have become. But revel in what you can. Enjoy what is to be enjoyed. As sad as these memories can be and these associations are, and as valid as it is, life is moving forward constantly, whether we want it to or not. And it's on us. It's on us. It's our individual accountability and responsibility to have perspective and to change that perspective when needed, for ourselves. Not for others, for ourselves. And part of that change of perspective is realizing that all of those events that happened in your past are just that, your past. That doesn't mean that they're not important. It doesn't mean that they don't affect you. But it does mean that that can't hurt you any more than what you allow it to. It's okay to remember. It's okay to learn. But when you wallow, the only person you're hurting is yourself. And in turn, that hurts the people around you who care about you. But it's not about them. I know that sounds selfish, but it's your life. And it's about you and your experiences. And wouldn't you want to experience happiness rather than sadness? It's not easy. It's not. It's a long road to understanding, to moving on. But that doesn't mean that the scar won't be there. It will. But it will be a reminder of the fact that you survived, that you're still here, and that you still have hope, like I said. And ain't that a wonderful thing? Because despite the whole world telling you to cheer up, it's valid that you are sad. It is. But emotional awareness, which is a key component to understanding life. Excuse me. Emotional awareness is what allows us to gain control, to gain perspective, and to understand that it is okay to feel. It is okay to go through it. Because it's like my grandpa always said, you got to get through it to get to it. You can't get over something if you don't allow yourself to. But getting over it isn't about forgetting it, isn't about negating the validity of it. It's about understanding its place in your life and how you're going to move forward. Because time waits for no one. The sun is always burning. The world is always turning. And it's your life that's passing you by. What are you going to do with it? That is the accountability. And as daunting as it might seem, it is also the thrilling part of life that allows you to take hold, to take the reins, and to find reasons to smile. But that's, like I said, a matter of perspective. And that's on you. Whether or not you're willing to change your perspective, to seek things to enjoy, or to witness what frustrates you. And it's not about blinding yourself. It's not about ignoring it. It's about putting it into the order of perspective that is needed so that you can continue, so that you can cope. Life is about coping with everything that we face. Experiences happen, whether we want them to or not, and it is happening at a blinding speed sometimes. And we need to figure out how to handle it. But the only person who can figure that out is you. And I'm not saying that you can't have help. I'm not saying that there isn't help. There is. There is. You just need but reach out, my friend. You'd be surprised how much support is out there. And I know there are people out there that are going to say this. I have reached out, and all I've gotten is silence. And maybe that silence is the message. I'm not saying that it is a message that tells you to give up or that it is hopeless. It is a message of change. It is a message to find something in that silence. But once again, that lies in perspective. That lies in what you're willing to see and what you're willing to do. Because it's our responsibility to live, not someone else. No one's going to hand you anything. No one's going to give you anything. It's a matter of you building up the relationships, the connections, yourself, your abilities, your talents, all of that. And remember this, because a lot of people's disappointments in life stem from them believing that they can't do something, or listening to other people's words saying that they didn't do it right or can't do it right. You can. Anybody can do anything. It's a matter of getting through it to get to it, though. You gotta be willing to suck at something to be good at it. No one goes in at something and is immediately the best at it. Some people might have some intuitive capabilities, sure, but they still have to work to get to a certain level. It's never going to be easy, but that's because it's worth it. Because you are worth it. And the person who needs to see that isn't everybody else. It's you. Because it doesn't matter who values you. It matters if you do. That's the important part. And that's something that you cannot blind yourself to. So damn the holidays. You want something to celebrate. Look in the mirror, my friend. For that is someone who deserves to be celebrated. Don't forget that. With that, my friends, I do hope you enjoyed this episode of Fahzaly Advice. Thank you so much for watching, and it's time for this love train to get rolling on through. Choo choo. I love every single freaking one of you. Well, everybody, that's the end of Fahzaly Advice. I hope you did enjoy this episode and you found some value in what I said. And of course, if you are interested in participating, if you need some advice or some perspective, feel free to email the address at the end of this part. And remember, all submissions are 100% anonymous. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Need some perspective? Need some advice? Want your submission read on podcast? Well, email Fahza at fahzalyadvice@gmail.com. And remember, all submissions are 100% anonymous unless requested upon.